Now, I'm all about being the highest vibrational being that you could be, trying to resonate on the frequency of love, but when there's vile, evil, moronic, unself-aware demons out there with literal blood on their hands being unself-aware, those human beings deserve to be called out, and we need to know who they are. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the worst possible supposed journalist, prostitute, fucktard out there that is just ambivalent to not only her horrendous crimes against humanity, but just is out there right now living in such a bubble that I am in utter shock that this is even happening. Now, Chelsea Manning, it was just announced that her sentence was commuted, that she's going to get out of jail. A lot of people are happy about this. Chelsea Manning's not trending. Judith Miller is trending. Why is Judith Miller, the former Pulitzer Prize winning New York Times journalist, trending? Well, she had the balls and the audacity and the gall to tweet, quote, Obama commutes sentence of Chelsea Manning. How many people died because of Manning leak? Are you kidding me? How wonderful and amazing must it be to live in this moronic, idiotic bubble that this neoconservative pig Judith Miller lives in? I have no idea. She has to lie to herself to go to sleep at night. This is the human being that is responsible for the war in Iraq. I may be exaggerating a little bit, but it was Judith Miller who carried water for the Bush administration for the worst debacle in American foreign policy, according to many historical experts, because she is the one that George Bush used. And her front page article on the New York Times that said Saddam Hussein was on the quest for WMDs. George W. Bush used that to make the case to invade Iraq. She got the information from an anonymous source within the Bush administration. Again, anonymous source. Same thing we're seeing with all the latest attacks, with all the latest disinformation and fake news that we're seeing right now in the mainstream media. An anonymous government official, without fact-checking, without sourcing, without actually looking at the evidence herself, she convinced the American public of this grand lie that the Bush administration knew was a lie, and we invaded Iraq because the mainstream media was lockstep and barrel, and there was no way she could defend her lazy, flawed journalism. So she came out recently and said she doesn't even feel guilty of lying to the American public for an incredible loss of human life, human suffering, murders, and torturing, which some people put in the reports over 1 million people. 1 million casualties from the results of the Iraq war, which have spurred the cause of ISIS. This person literally has blood dripping from her hands. It's like the Exorcist. There's blood all around her. Spiritually speaking, probably the most unaware, idiotic person. And then let's get to her original point. How many people did Chelsea Manning kill by releasing information within the government showing human rights violations that the U.S. government and military carried out in our name? How many people died because of these leaks, because of this information of finally the government being held accountable for their war crimes? How many people died? Well, during the trial of Chelsea Manning, Brigadier General Robert Carr, who was a senior counterintelligence officer who headed the Information Review Task Force that investigated the impact of these WikiLeaks disclosure on behalf of the Defense Department, told the court during Chelsea Manning's hearing that he had uncovered no specific examples of anyone who had lost his or her life in reprisal that followed the publication of the disclosure on the internet. No, I don't have a specific example, he said, of the loss of life. I am at a loss for words at this incredulous monster, the worst that journalism has ever seen. At least in my opinion. I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for insults. I don't even know what else to say. Send me your best Judith Miller insults in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Yeah. For fuck's sakes.